Hazer, to just kind of start things off, coming off last week, it's back-to-back weeks where you guys don't reach double digits in goals. How did you assess that performance? Is it a similar one to the game you played against Buffalo?
Uh, yeah, we had opportunities. I thought, you know what, they did a good job. I thought Walsh played really well. But we also shot very poorly. We had a lot of good looks that we just didn't capitalize on. And again, that's one thing that we talked about at practice there. We're just going to make sure that we're, you know, picking our spots and bearing when the opportunity exists. But yeah, we kind of got stale. Couldn't get out of a bit of a funk there in the fourth quarter where, and it's not just on the O guys. It's we were pressing. We were trying to hold on. You know, they were pushing on us, and yeah, started from the back end. You know, our transition game was trying to do a little bit too much. Our offensive guys kind of countered that by trying to do too much too quick, and we just kind of got away from our game plan a little bit.
Any comment on Ethan Riggs? I know he was just signed and looks like he's going to begin on the practice squad, but any thoughts on Rochester acquiring him?
Yeah, you know, again, he's something that when that transaction happened during training camp in Georgia, we kind of raised our eyebrows a little bit. But he's a big body on that left-handed guy that we're kind of looking to fill again. He's another guy that plays with the chip. And I think he's going to fit in well when, like I say, when he gets up to speed here with us, and just on that side of it, just big physical body that we're kind of looking for, and we have a hole right now.
And last question for me before we go over to Griffin. Playing against Saskatchewan this week, or having them come in. Interesting. If you look at some of these games in the NLL, these first couple weeks, there's been a few that have been, 9-8, 8-7. Goaltending has been a highlight. They also have Zach Mans, though, who had a pretty dominant performance. What do you see on the floor when it comes to the rush?
You know what? They play fast from their back end forward. Defensively, like say, they're really quick. They're not as physical as the last two teams we played with in Buffalo and Vancouver. But they do a good job of taking away time and space and putting you in spots where, like say, Frankie's big, huge goalie that has been playing really well. And again, offensively, they attack real quick. The ball zips. They have their structure, but they have a bunch of guys on the floor as well at the same time that can go off as per Mans in the fourth quarter of that last week.
Thanks, Hazer. Griffin, you good to go?
Yeah, all good. Hazer, how are you?
Good, thanks, Griffin. Yourself.
Good. Good. Yeah. So I think at this point in the year, especially after Connor Fields has 10 points in the first weekend, now only four in the last two. What do you feel like he needs to do to adjust a little bit, especially after being held scoreless, at least in goals last week?
Keep going. There looks like a couple times where he had the opportunity to take that shot that he takes and does so well, and he kind of passed up on it to look for a better play. And again, it's something that we need Fieldsy to evolve into to find that open guy. But at the same time, the instructions for him and for everybody is if that shot for you is open, you take it. He's got one of the best and purest shots, and he's just going to make sure he takes advantage of it and has that confidence. I think he's kind of trying to figure out what we're going to do, trying to get everybody involved. And sometimes, as we said to a lot of guys, sometimes be selfish, take the shot.
Ryan Lynchberry, right now looking at stats, kind of top 15 across the board in assists and points. What evolution have you seen in his game throughout these first few weeks?
You know what? He came in here and was a bit of a quarterback for us, taking some pressure off of Smitty on that side of the ball. And again, he has such good division. He's got a very deceptive shot as well, where he can find the back of the net when he has his opportunity. He's just playing really well. He's playing with confidence, and as a group, like I say, there's a lot of bright spots in what we're doing. It's just we need to find that consistency, and right now he's one that's playing consistent good lacrosse for us.
So last game, you guys had the lead for over 25 minutes of that. And Saskatchewan, they never had the lead until that final goal. Is their almost game plan the last few weeks of just hanging around, sticking around, never being out of these games until overtime and just prolonging the game as long as possible, something that you guys can also take away from that as you look at your last two performances?
Yeah, again, you're outside looking in. I'm sure that's not the game plan. That's just hang around and bury them in overtime, right? But they are playing 60 minutes of lacrosse, and again, watching that last game, they had a little bit of a lull in that through the middle stretch of the game. Church went down there, and it kind of stalled them a little bit, maybe possibly until they got their legs. But that's the thing about good teams and good players, that when the pressure comes, like Zach Mans, like he went off, and every team has that ability to go off. And but they do play quick and they do attack quick. I thought Halifax did a good job for a long time, just making sure that they couldn't. So we got to make sure that we do this similar defensively. And yeah, we need to learn how to play for 60 minutes. We got to get rid of our the lulls that we do have.
So Zach Mans, he scored over half of their goals so far this season. But last week, Brock Haley and Levi Anderson, you also saw them start to contribute. How have you also seen those two rookies in terms of game plan for you guys this week as somebody that you have to look out for?
Yeah, we just got to make sure we're reminding our principals and making note of those guys for sure. And again, like for those guys, it does take time to figure out your role and what this game and the speed is about. Two young guys that came in, kind of two different players. Ryderson's a big body. He can create his own shot. Haley's very deceptive, got great feet, got a good range as well. So we just got to make sure we're doing what we need to do defensively, get on hands, put them in lanes that it's going to make it easy for Hutchie.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Good.
Adam,
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Good. Well, I'm excited to be headed up to Blue Cross Arena for the first time this weekend. That'll be a lot of fun. So a couple questions. I'm always here for some goalie content. So when it comes to Riley Hutchcraft, we've spoken about him kind of throughout the season, but what can you say, about his performance? Because I think it's quite frankly been underrated considering the minutes he's been logging.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one thing. Hutchie's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and he's giving us an opportunity to number one, to win a game, but he's keeping us in these games to give us that opportunity to win a game as well. He's that last game, like and defensively as well. I think we're doing a good job trying to make sure that he can see the ball in the areas he wants to see and be comfortable stopping. Like you go back on that, like defensively 5-on-5, even power play, like we let in 3 5-on-5 goals. They get 4 in transition on us. That's a good game for any team and any goalie to have at the end of the day. When there's nobody in front of them, they're pushing and training. Like, what do you expect? Everybody should be able to score. You don't always, but he also stopped and made a lot of big saves for us that game to keep us in it. And he's done that so far. And yeah, he's playing with confidence. He's playing really well. And again, that's a credit to the guys in front of him. It's credit to his evolvement as well. He's getting comfortable in this league, in the skin, and in between the pipes in this league.
So just take me through how you feel he's evolved, because obviously he has had more and more time in between the pipes over the last 2 years.
Yeah, again, it's just those reps, and like I say, Hutchie's not a very mobile goalie, but like he's not like Hartz. He's totally different. Like Hartz is bouncy. He's very athletic, very energetic. He's square, and he just plays a really simple game where if you're going to pick your spot and you hit your spot, you're going to possibly get it in. But he's square. He's solid right now, and he's playing with confidence. And the more that the greater ability that we give him by putting those guys in the spots he wants, he's going to get even more comfortable making the saves we need to make.
And so when it comes to this weekend, and I've been asking you this pretty much every week, it was interesting to see in the transactions Kevin Orleman moved or retained on the active roster. What's the latest on the goalie situation from Hartley and his recovery to Hutchcraft, and what do you expect from him and the decision to retain Orleman?
Yeah, no, it's same thing. Hartz is still working to get himself back, and Again, he's not quite ready again, but it's coming. And with Orderman there, like we obviously we have to do a little roster juggling. Coatsy is going to be out for a stretch here for us, so we had to free up a spot, and yeah, right now he's the guy that's bumping up to create a spot for Ethan Riggs there.
And then just finally, quickly for you, when it comes to Hutchcraft, obviously you want to make it, the defense wants to make it as easy as possible for him in between the pipes. When I look at some of these advanced metrics, when it comes to save attempts per 60 minutes, he's one of the highest in the National Lacrosse League right now. When it comes to just total shots faced, he's, I think, the most in the National Lacrosse League right now. What can the defense do better so he doesn't have to make as many saves?
You know what? I think we're a team that plays fast, and teams counter that by playing fast on us as well. So I'm not necessarily worried about the shots, and we're not worried about the shots we're going to face. Again, defensively, we just want to make sure that in the areas where they're down the alleys, like we want to protect the middle of the floor, and if that's our focus. So if they're going to take an outside shot or something down the lane, hey, take it. We'll trust Hutchie's going to make that save for us, and that's where we want to put him.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Coach.
No problem. Thanks.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good there, Sam. How about yourself?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Coach, real quick, I just want to piggyback off of some of the questions a little bit to what was asked before, but we talk about how you guys got kind of off to a fast start in games, and then at least in the last two games, kind of the second half has been a little bit tough for you. Is there something that you can do for the guys, like simulate in practice, to kind of work through so that you're coming out stronger in the second half, so that you're not getting into a situation where you're trying to play catch up or really are falling behind pretty quickly there in the second half?
Yeah, no, I think again, it's something that we've talked about practice wise. We kind of ramp up and then kind of ramp up again a little bit at times here at practices, where we kind of refocus and get going again, trying to simulate as best as we possibly can that kind of 15-minute break. But it's more of a mindset here for us, I think, at the end of the day. It's just, and we call it the choice. It's the choice that we're going to commit to, again, getting up the floor, playing hard between the restraining lines, because that's where we're kind of burying ourselves for the most part, is those transition goals, and transition opportunities as well against, like, it's taxing on our defense. And one thing that we talked about is we don't have Joe Post here with us, so we don't have that legitimate face-off guy. So last game there, we played, we were 5 for 20 on the face-off. We battled hard, and we had a few balls that we turned over, so the numbers could have been skewed a little bit better to our favor. But there's 15 extra shifts of defense that didn't play last year. So we just got to make sure that we're committing to playing really smart lacrosse, and then just kind of going from there. And then just having I'll go back, and when we're on the back end of things, our offense is sitting waiting a little bit longer than we were last year. So it's that focus, it's that commitment that, okay, it's my turn, let's go. And I think the second half last week especially, we didn't have the let's go.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it.
No problem at all.
Hey, Coach, late to the party. I'm sorry I missed the first two games, but I'm looking forward to seeing the team live for the first time this weekend. One of the biggest things for me, like looking at the off season, and I haven't had a chance to spend some time with you, like just watching Ian Lord in the first couple games, like he is really, like, to me, has played younger than he is. Can you take us through the process of him being a free agent? He's a guy who's already played for you before in the past Rochester Knighthawks organization, so you've known him for a long time. I think you guys might even still been in the league together as players, maybe when he first got in. But what was it about Ian that like you saw in the offseason, like, this is a guy that can come in and help him? Where were the areas that you thought he could help the most, and what do you think of his play so far?
You know what? It's obviously it's our end, but it's in that prime scoring area. Like, we just needed to be a lot more physical inside there. And a guy, he's your typical stay-at-home D guy. He's not going to extend himself to boards and put himself in trouble. He's going to anchor that backside for us, and it's going to allow our athletes to sort of get up and get on hands a little bit more, knowing that he's going to be positionally sound. And if you want to go through the middle, you're going to feel a stick or a cross check, and again, we needed that, and so that was a big reason that that we needed him here. He just needed to, and again, he's older. He understands that. He's a lot older than he was here when he was here the last time. But he's also kind of helping the other guys develop into that position, right? Like we we need a bit of a teacher as well. We rely on our guys to teach, not just necessarily play. We need our guys to teach the next guys that are coming. And we talked about that with him, and he's doing a good job so far, just trying to leading by example. And again, just his tips are valuable for our young guys to learn and grow from.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was following along, especially in the Vegas game, and just looking at the fans' reaction. There was a lot of posts on social media of like, "Oh, Lord's not messing around. Like he's setting the tone. Like this is what we need." So, I mean, even like right from that first game, people were noticing a big difference in the back end. And
Yeah,
you
100%.
also, yeah, you also brought in Chad Tutton, who's another veteran guy, but a big name guy. You brought in Brandon Slade, so you brought in a couple big name guys on the back end. What have those two guys brought to the team so far?
Yeah, again, Tetsu's another one that's big, very physical. And he's one of the athletes that Lordy can sit underneath, and Tetsu's going to kind of put pressure and get going type deal. And he gets up the floor well as well for us. He's got a motor. And again, physical, really physical inside, and he understands that role. With Slade, again, a veteran guy that has a different ability to get up the floor, get on hands really quickly, put a lot of pressure on the offensive guys. But he generally we are four rights, three lefts up front. He has that ability to stay in the offensive end for us and give our guys a bit of a breather when needed. So yeah, and then again, Josh Medeiros is another one on that same side, the left side, right? And again, he's a cross between Tutsi, I guess. He's younger, he's learning, but he's physical, gets up the floor as well for us. And I think between the four of them so far on that side of the floor, they've been doing a good job. And I do know one thing, guys feel it a little more than they did last year.
And that's perfect because I was going to ask about Josh next. So you
I
took one of the
jumped to it.
questions off my list. And last thing for me, just the it seems like now in the first couple games, like looking at the league as a whole, like people are like realizing now that Matt Gilray is one of the best around, and you kind of heard some of those rumblings last year, and I think people were like, all right, well, let's see how he starts off this year. Can he maintain it? And so like so far, I think that Gilray's really establishing himself as one of those top transition guys. How has his game evolved over the last 12 months of things that you saw and now things that everybody's seeing?
Yeah, again, it's just that he does a really good job in the back end first. And again, that's the focus, and that's the one focus that we need him to make sure he's doing. There's a lot of cheaters in this league, and he's not one. Like he's going to play his role, and then he understands that he's going to get up the floor and push transition and create opportunities. He understands it. He believes in it. He's got the green light to do as he sees fit in that area. I think right now, and he said it, and it was on video that his shooting is atrocious. Again, that's gonna come, right? That's gonna come. We know it's there, and again, and that's the funny thing, right? Like everybody kind of looks at those numbers and those points, but he does such a good role in the back end for us first, and then creates that opportunity that he's not necessarily always scoring, but he's creating opportunities, and he allows our offense to get on the floor going downhill, and that's what we need from him, and that's what he's doing.
Great. Thanks a lot, Coach. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks.
Ripper, do you have anything for Hazer?
These are kind of flip-flop between right side, left side. 2 weeks ago was the left side that had some success. Last week it was the right side. How do you get the two sides, getting equal contributions from them?
Yeah, I thought Vancouver did a really good job focusing on our left side and taking Fieldsy's strengths away. We just got to continue with basically, it's simple for us anyways, just continue with the game plan and trust in what we're trying to do. And again, righties had a great job off our swings from our lefties, right? We got to continue just to make sure we're swinging the ball, don't get stuck in the middle of the floor. And then the lefties will be able to, create and off that second swing that comes back to them type deal. So we're just going to stick with it at the end of the day here. And everybody's just got to trust each other. And I think at the same time, that's one focus we had in on Tuesday, is that we're going to try and put guys on their heels early in our possessions so they're not sitting around sorting and have that ability to match up. Perfect.
Looks like that is it for today. So, Hazer, we appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for participating, and good luck this weekend against Saskatchewan.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.